My daughter's fiancé asked about our ranch 4 times, each question slightly different, testing what I knew about property values, mineral rights, estate planning. I played along, smiled, acted like a trusting future father-in-law. I wasn't. On her wedding day, as 200 guests watched, Olivia reached into her bouquet during the ceremony. She handed me a note, tears in her eyes. "Daddy threatened me last night." I stood from my seat. The groom's face went white. "Hello, my friends. I truly appreciate you stopping by today. Quick question. Before we start, drop a comment and tell me, where in the world are you watching from? Right now, I love seeing how far these stories reach. Fair warning, this tale includes fictional elements added for educational and entertainment purposes. Any similarities to real people or places are entirely coincidental, but the core truth about protecting loved ones remains completely genuine. Here's what happened. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my daughter's life. Instead, I stood in my own garden, watching her walk away from the altar, a note trembling in her hand. Olivia, my daughter, my only child, stood there in her wedding dress, Catherine's pearls at her throat, white roses clutched in shaking fingers. 200 guests watched as she left the man she was supposed to marry and walked straight to me. The garden went silent. I opened the folded paper, read the words in her careful handwriting. "Dad, he threatened me last night. 23 years with the FBI trained me for crisis. But seeing those words, seeing the bruises I knew hid beneath her sleeve, seeing that bastard at the altar like he'd already won, I looked up, met his eyes, and dropped the act I'd been playing for 6 weeks. Elliot Harrington." My voice carried across the garden, steady and cold. "Except, that's not your real name, is it?" The crowd erupted. Gasps, confused whispers. Elliot's face cycled through shock, confusion, fear. His British charm faltered. "Stanley, I don't know what—" I cut him off. "Read the note aloud so everyone could hear." "Dad, he threatened me last night." More gasps. Olivia's friends crying out. My neighbors, Texas ranchers, who'd known me 40 years, rising from their chairs. Graham Pierce. I said, letting his real name hang in the air. Wanted in the United Kingdom for elder exploitation, for fraud. Elliot's face went white. He looked around at the guests at the exits, saw Sheriff Keller, my old friend, at the back, saw my former FBI team scattered through the crowd, though he didn't know them yet. He turned to Olivia. Something ugly crossed his face. "You planned this." His voice came out low, dangerous. "You bitch!" He took one step toward her, one threatening step. I moved faster, put myself between them in half a heartbeat. 62 years old, retired 5 years. But some reflexes don't die. "The Dutcher," I said quietly, "and die." The garden went silent. 200 people frozen. The hill country breeze died. Even the birds stopped. Elliot's hand was raised, his intent written all over him. I stood there between my daughter and a predator, and the whole world balanced on that moment. My body coiled, ready. I was older now, but smarter, more patient, and I had backup. Elliot saw something in my eyes that made him freeze. Good. Let him see what 23 years hunting men like him had carved into my bones. But you need to understand how we got here, how a former FBI agent came to ruin his daughter's wedding to save her life. How this man, Graham Pierce, wearing Elliot Harrington's face, made the fatal mistake of targeting my family. 6 weeks before this moment, everything looked different. I was playing the confused old man. He was playing the charming fiancé. Olivia was happy planning her future. And I was building a trap. The 4th time he asked about mineral rights, I knew. Not suspected knew. The way you know when you've spent decades reading Predators. That's where this really starts. Not here at the altar with 200 witnesses and a confrontation that looks like the ending. This starts 6 weeks earlier on a September afternoon that seemed perfectly ordinary, when Graham Pierce asked the question that gave him away. Let me take you back. Back to the 4th time. Back to the beginning of the end. 6 weeks earlier. The 4th time Elliot Harrington asked about mineral rights transfers, I knew. Not suspected, knew. 23 years hunting predators for the FBI teaches you the difference between curiosity and reconnaissance. We stood on the ranch porch, September heat, brutal at 4 p.m. Elliot leaned against the railing, coffee in hand, staring at my land like he was counting its value. "So, Stanley," he said in that polished British accent, "these mineral rights, is there a way to expedite the transfer process for estate planning purposes?" 4th time he'd asked. 4th different way of phrasing the same question. I sipped my coffee, watched him. 62 years old, retired from the bureau, 5 years, but pattern recognition gets burned into your bones. Behind us, my daughter Olivia was on the phone with the wedding planner, happy, excited. She'd met Elliot 8 months ago at an Austin charity gala. He'd seemed perfect then. Too perfect. I'll look into that, I said, keeping my voice easy. Estate planning's complicated. Of course. Elliot smiled, charming. Exactly what a future son-in-law should be. Except I'd interviewed hundreds of con artists. Knew that smile when it was manufactured. The ranch stretched out before us 400 acres of hill country. My wife Catherine and I had bought 30 years ago for nothing. Now worth millions. The mineral rights alone, 15 million. Catherine would have spotted him in 5 minutes. She'd always had a nose for liars. But Catherine had been dead 3 years. Car accident on Highway 290. Left me alone with just Olivia checking on me every weekend. When she'd met Elliot, I'd been happy for her. The engagement came fast 4 months then, a proposal. Wedding set for October 15th, 6 weeks away. And in 8 months, Elliot had asked about mineral rights 4 times. 4. That wasn't curiosity. That was reconnaissance. After they left Olivia chattering about flowers, Elliot quiet beside her, I sat in my study. Catherine's photo smiled from the desk. That look she'd had when someone lied to her face. 4th time, honey, I told her picture. That's a pattern. I pulled out my old contact list. Names from my bureau days. People who could find things. Patrick Morgan, Quantico. The best background investigator I'd ever worked with. I stared at the phone. Last chance to back out. To trust my daughter's judgment. To hope I was just a paranoid old man. But my gut was screaming. And in 23 years with the FBI, my gut had never been wrong. Not once. Every time I'd ignored it, people got hurt. Every time I'd listened, I'd stopped something bad. Elliot Harrington had asked the wrong questions too many times. Smiled too perfectly. Looked at my land with too much interest. If he was clean, Patrick would tell me in 48 hours, and I'd apologize for being suspicious. But if he wasn't, my daughter was 6 weeks from marrying a predator. Evening now, Olivia asleep upstairs, the house quiet except for the wind. I picked up the phone, dialed the number I hadn't called in 5 years. It rang once, twice, no turning back now. Patrick Morgan answered on the second ring. Even at 11 p.m., his voice was alert. Marines don't lose that edge. Brennan, haven't heard from you in 5 years. Thought you were done. I said, staring at Catherine's photo. Until my daughter's fiancé started acting like every con artist I ever put away. His tone shifted. All business. Talk. I kept it brief. Elliot Harrington, 36, British, financial advisor in Dallas. Met my daughter 8 months ago. Wedding in 6 weeks. Asked about mineral rights 4 times. Same question 4 different ways. Pattern screams con, I said. You want off-books background check? Wienerbar styrkt. When does that see bowl? I need to know if my daughter's safe. Silence. Then 48 hours. If there's dirt, I'll find it. That's what 20 years backing each other up buys you. Loyalty without questions. After we hung up, I couldn't wait. Opened my laptop. Searched Elliot Harrington Financial Advisor Dallas. Results were thin. Generic website. Template testimonials. His LinkedIn was worse. Created 18 months ago. Red flag. Before that, nothing. Work history listed 3 firms with no depth. Education claimed Oxford, but I couldn't verify it. But his connections were interesting. Martha Henderson, Dallas, widow retirement age. Connected with Elliot 14 months ago. Susan Rodriguez, Austin, widow 70s. Connected 11 months ago. Patricia Whitmore, San Antonio, widow wealthy. Connected 8 months ago. 3 wealthy Texas widows, all connected to Elliot in the past year. And their social media had stopped. Martha's last post was 2 weeks after connecting. Susan stopped within a month. Patricia's went silent 3 months ago. 23 years of cop instinct screaming. That wasn't coincidence. That was pattern. Should I tell Olivia now? Wake her, show her this? But show her what a LinkedIn profile and silent social accounts. She'd have explanations. Maybe they stopped posting. Maybe they valued privacy. I had suspicion, not evidence. Instinct, not proof. Olivia was happy, excited. What if I was wrong? What if I destroyed her relationship over paranoia? But what if I was right? Catherine's voice in my head, something she'd say when I got impatient. Trust but verify, Stanley. Don't rush to judgment. Don't ignore warning signs either. I needed Patrick's results. Needed concrete evidence before breaking my daughter's heart. 48 hours until certainty. 41 days until Olivia married a man whose digital footprint smelled like death. My phone buzzed. Patrick running deep background. 48 hours. If he's dirty, we'll know. I looked at Catherine's photo. He picked the wrong family. Upstairs, Olivia slept dreaming of white dresses. In Dallas, Elliot probably dreamed of my money. I sat in the dark staring at 3 names. 3 widows who'd gone silent after connecting with my daughter's fiancé. My gut had never been wrong. But God, I hope this time it was. Patrick called back in 36 hours, not 48. In the FBI, early results meant one thing: bad news. I was checking fence line when my phone buzzed. I pulled the truck over at the Enchanted Rock overlook. Whatever Patrick had found needed privacy. "Talk to me," I said. Patrick's voice carried that professional tension he reserved for cases going dark. "Brennan, your daughter's fiancé doesn't exist." The granite dome stretched before me, solid and permanent. Everything Patrick was about to tell me would be the opposite. Elliot Harrington was created 18 months ago, he continued. No history before that, completely fabricated. "You're certain?" "Checked 6 different ways, a ghost before 2023. Papers rustled. "But fingerprints tell a different story." I'd kept the wine glass from dinner last week, sent it to Patrick for processing. Standard precaution that now felt like divine intervention. Prints matched a British database. Real name, Graham Pierce. My blood went cold. Graham Pierce is wanted in the UK for elder exploitation and fraud. 2 known victims, both wealthy widows. Patrick's voice hardened. Helen Brightwell lost £400,000. She testified against him, but he vanished before trial. Carol Richmond lost $600,000 and died falling down her stairs 3 days before Pierce disappeared. Accident. British police suspect murder. Can't prove it. Investigation still open. I stared at Enchanted Rock, seeing nothing. Not just a con artist, a potential killer. His MO is consistent, Patrick said. Targets wealthy elderly or their families. Builds trust over months, gains financial access, drains accounts, disappears, new identity, repeats. He prefers passive income estates, trusts mineral rights. 15 million in mineral rights, a trusting daughter, a widowed father. The UK wants him extradited, but they can't touch him without US charges. Right now, he's just a British problem hiding in Texas. 1 victim testified. 1 victim died. Now Graham Pierce was targeting Olivia. "Oh, what do I need?" My voice shifted to tactical. "Evidence of a crime on US soil. You have to make him commit and document it." Patrick paused. 5 weeks until the wedding. Time to build a case. But how confront him directly? He'll vanish. Tell Olivia without proof she won't believe you. You need him comfortable, overconfident, making mistakes. My FBI training kicked in, instinct honed over 23 years. Undercover ops, sting operations. Make the target feel safe, then spring the trap. Patrick! My mind raced through scenarios. In all the years you've known me, have you ever seen me play weak? Never. You're stubborn as hell. Good. I started the engine. Because that's exactly what I'm about to do. What are you thinking? Graham Pierce is hunting for vulnerability, so I'm going to show him exactly what he wants to see. The plan crystallized with brutal clarity. A confused old man losing his grip, memory problems, poor judgment, someone who needs help managing his affairs. Stanley. He thinks he's got an easy mark. A grieving widower, a trusting daughter, a fortune in mineral rights just sitting there. But he made one critical mistake. What's that? He picked the wrong family, the wrong FBI agent to con. Through the windshield, the hill country stretched toward home, toward Olivia, toward everything Catherine and I had built. At 5 weeks, Patrick, I'm going to give Graham Pierce the performance of his life. And on October 15th, in front of 200 witnesses, I'm going to destroy him. The line went quiet. Then Patrick said what we both knew. You'll need backup. I'll need a full surveillance package. Every identity he's used, known associates, financial patterns, everything. Done. Stanley, be careful. If he suspects anything, he won't. I pulled back onto the highway. Because I'm going to be the best confused old man he's ever seen. 35 days until the wedding. 35 days to build an airtight case. The countdown had begun. 4 weeks before the wedding, I became someone I'd never been in 62 years, a confused old man. I'd arranged this family dinner specifically for the performance. Olivia and Graham arrived at 6, my daughter glowing with wedding excitement. Graham looked hungry. Time to begin. So, what day is today? I asked halfway through the pot roast, letting confusion cloud my face. Olivia's smile faltered. Sunday, Dad? Are you okay? Graham's eyes sharpened. I caught the flicker of interest. Of course, Sunday. I served myself seconds, then turned to Graham. So, Eric, how's work in Dallas? It's Elliot, sir. Right, Elliot. I touched my temple. Memory's not what it used to be. I watched Graham's face carefully, their barely concealed excitement, like a shark smelling blood. Dad. Olivia's voice carried worry. Maybe we should have Dr. Weber check. Afval. boss. I actually, Graham interrupted smoothly. I'd be happy to help manage things if you need it, sir. Financial planning paperwork, that's what I do. Perfect. The bait was working. That's kind of you, son. I let genuine gratitude color my voice. Later, reaching for the salt, I paused. Where's my property deed? I had it somewhere. Dad, you filed it last month. Remember, Olivia's hand found mine. I was with you. Was that last month? I frowned. Feels like yesterday. Graham and Olivia exchanged concerned glances. I asked about the wedding venue twice within 10 minutes, appearing genuinely confused both times. After dinner, as they prepared to leave, Graham touched my shoulder. Perhaps I should visit more often, help with the ranch operations. I'd appreciate that. I gripped his hand, playing the grateful father perfectly. His smile told me everything he thought victory was within reach. The phone rang an hour after they left. Olivia crying. Dad, I'm scared. Tonight you forgot so much. Should we postpone the wedding? I could come home, take care of... My heart shattered. Every instinct screamed to tell her the truth. That I wasn't confused. That her fiancé was a predator. That this was all an act. Instead, I lied to my daughter. I'm fine, sweetheart. Just tired. You focus on your big day. After hanging up, I sat in darkness staring at Catherine's photograph on the mantle. I'm hurting her, I whispered. Our daughter thinks she's losing me the same way she lost you. But I'd seen Graham's face when I forgot. That gleam of greed, that sense of triumph. He thought the trap was closing on me. He was wrong. Catherine's voice echoed from memory. Sometimes love means making brutal choices. This was that choice. Short-term pain for long-term safety. I couldn't save Olivia if Graham disappeared. Had to keep him comfortable enough to stay careless enough to make mistakes. The FBI taught me patience in hunting predators. Graham was playing a long game. So was I. The difference, I knew exactly who was really hunting whom. 28 days until the wedding. 28 days of playing the victim while building the cage. 28 days of breaking my daughter's heart to save her life. I looked at Catherine's photograph, the woman who'd made me promise to always protect our family, no matter the cost. I'm keeping that promise, I said softly. Even if Olivia hates me for it. Graham Pierce wanted a vulnerable old man, I'd give him exactly that. Right up until the moment I destroyed him. The countdown continued. The performance had begun. And Graham had no idea he was already caught. 3 weeks before the wedding, Olivia hired a planner, Graham's recommendation. Kimberly Summers stepped from her car with a polished smile and expensive briefcase. The way she looked at Graham when Olivia turned away told me everything. Not strangers, partners. Best planner in Austin, Graham said smoothly. I shuffled papers, playing confused. Red flag his referral. While Olivia discussed flowers, I watched them. Too comfortable together. They finished each other's sentences. Touched casually, then stopped. Who holds the property title? Kimberly asked, reviewing the venue. Any liens or mortgages? Do mineral rights transfer with the deed? Graham's exact questions. Same pattern. I deliberately confused ceremony sections. They exchanged glances caught. When Olivia focused on catering, I stood nearby, harmless old man. Their quiet exchange carried. 3 weeks will be clear. Old man signs the papers. They noticed me. Conversation shifted. I asked a confused question about flowers. Perfect cover. The moment they left, I called Patrick. Need background on Kimberly Summers, wedding planner Austin. Sunset brought his call back. 4 cities in 5 years. Always leaves after high-profile weddings. Missing jewelry, forged signatures, stolen deposits. Never charge victims too embarrassed. Patrick paused. She robs guests. If she's working with Graham, 200 people at my wedding. Catherine's friends, elderly relatives. Not a single fraud, a mass theft operation. I couldn't handle this alone. Storm clouds rolled across the hill country that evening, turning everything dark. 21 days until 200 guests gathered at my ranch. Graham and Kimberly planned to rob them all. I pulled out my contact list. Not just Patrick anymore. I needed my old strike team. Megan Harper, tech specialist. Derek Stone, undercover expert. Walter Griffin, surveillance genius. 5 years since I'd asked them for anything. I texted Patrick, need the old team. How fast? For you, 48 hours. Thunder cracked. Lightning split the sky. I looked at Catherine's garden, soon invaded by criminals. At the ranch where our daughter should marry safely. Everyone I confirmed. Graham and Kimberly had made a fatal mistake. They'd threatened my family, my guests. Wrong FBI agent to cross. The storm broke. Rain hammered the roof. Inside, I began making lists. Coverage zones, evidence collection, positions. 21 days. 200 potential victims. 2 predators who thought they were untouchable. The FBI taught me one lesson: predators are most dangerous when they think they've won. Graham and Kimberly thought the trap was closing on a confused old man. They were about to discover it was already closed around them. 2 weeks before the wedding, I called in the team. 5 years since I'd asked them for anything. One text, need everyone, urgent. 48 hours later, 4 of the best agents I'd ever worked with sat in Patrick Morgan's barn outside Fredericksburg. That's what 20 years of mutual backup gets you. Loyalty that never quits. Patrick pushed a photo across the table. Graham Pierce's face stared back at us. All right, Brennan, Patrick said. Tell us everything. Brief introductions, no time for nostalgia. Patrick Morgan, 55, coordinator. Megan Harper, 34, tech specialist. Derek Stone, 43, undercover ops. Walter Griffin, 58, surveillance expert, months from retirement. My daughter's marrying a wanted murderer, I said. The room went silent. Walter, then let's get to work. Old team efficiency, trust, no wasted words. I laid it out: Graham Pierce UK warrant for elder exploitation. 2 victims. Helen Brightwell testified. Carol Richmond died suspiciously. Kimberly Summers, accomplice serial wedding thief. 15 million ranch target. 200 wedding guests marked for robbery. Olivia, completely unaware. Megan pulled up digital evidence. Graham's phone tracking legal warrants secured. Photos of documents photographed at my house. Internet searches, Texas inheritance law, power of attorney. Communications with Kimberly, digital footprint showing premeditation. We need recorded confession, Derek said. Clear, unambiguous. Sheriff Douglas Keller's coordinating, Patrick added. Local authorities on board. Walter studied the ranch diagram. 200 civilians, multiple exits, tight operation. The plan took shape: FBI agents posing as wedding guests, recording devices throughout venue, bait Graham into discussing the fraud on wedding day, capture confession with multiple backups, deputies positioned for arrest, takedown of Graham, Kimberly, any accomplices, legal framework, critical needed U.S. charges, ironclad evidence, one shot to execute perfectly. If it failed, Graham vanished forever. Roles assigned quickly. Stanley continued dementia act until wedding day, make Graham feel completely safe. Megan monitor all communications day of. Derek site reconnaissance plant devices. Walter surveillance angles cover exits. Patrick command from mobile unit. Sheriff Keller arrest legal custody. October 15th, Patrick said. 14 days. Contingencies discussed if Graham runs, if violence erupts. Everyone armed, everyone trained. But Priority 1, protect Olivia, protect guests. No cowboy moves, I said, by the book. Professional, disciplined. Everyone agreed. Walter examined the ranch layout with decades of tactical experience. 200 civilians, 1 armed target, multiple unknowns. This'll be tight, Brennan. We've handled worse, Derek said, but his face was serious. Patrick tapped October 15th on the calendar, circled in red. 14 days, 1 chance. We take down Graham and Kimberly without endangering Olivia or those guests. No mistakes. Megan pulled up a final image: Graham and Kimberly at a restaurant last week, laughing, raising wine glasses, celebrating early. I stared at their confident faces, their casual greed. He thinks I'm a confused old man, I said quietly. Thinks he's already won. Patrick's smile was cold, professional, a hunter's smile. Then let's show him what happens when a confused old man has a strike team of former FBI agents backing him up. 14 days, 1 shot, 2 predators about to learn what a real takedown looked like. The countdown had begun. The storm hit like a fist. Rain hammered the roof past 9 p.m., violent enough to wake me from uneasy sleep. Then headlights in the driveway too fast, sweeping erratically. I reached the door before the knock came. Olivia stood on my porch, soaked mascara, streaking, shaking. The dementia act died instantly. What did he do? She couldn't speak at first, just trembling. I pulled her inside, grabbed towels. Olivia, what did he do? She broke. It's Graham. I saw who he really is. My blood went cold. Tell me everything. Tonight at Graham's Dallas apartment, discussing wedding details. She'd questioned an inconsistency in his London family story, small thing dates that didn't match earlier conversations. His entire demeanor changed, cold, someone else entirely, not the warm fiancé, a predator. You're making a mistake doubting me, Olivia. Threatening tone. She'd pushed back. I just asked a simple question. He'd grabbed her arm, hard. I saw them bruises already forming, 5 perfect fingerprints darkening. Rage surged. I wanted to drive to Dallas immediately. She continued, voice breaking. His eyes went empty. He said, "Your father won't live forever. You'll need me. Don't make me regret this." Not just the words, the tone. Like he'd done this before. She'd pulled free, made excuses, left. Drove straight here through the storm. I examined the bruises carefully. 5 fingers. Dark purple. Physical evidence of assault. Graham had threatened her explicitly. Referenced my death as threat. The pattern clear, abuser showing true nature. Decision time. I couldn't protect her if she didn't know. Sit down, sweetheart. Deep breath. I steadied myself. His real name is Graham Pierce. I told her everything. British criminal wanted for elder exploitation. 2 victims, Helen Brightwell survived. Carol Richmond died suspiciously. Kimberly was accomplice. Plot to steal the ranch, rob wedding guests. The dementia was fake FBI operation. Team assembled, trap set for wedding day. Olivia processed shock, betrayal, pain, then understanding. You knew this whole time. Would you have believed me if you hadn't seen his real nature yourself? She realized needed to discover it herself. The confusion of the forgetting all fake, every second, to make him comfortable, to trap him. Silence. Then what do? Cancel. Your choice. But if we cancel, he vanishes, finds another victim. Olivia thought. Her eyes hardened. Catherine's daughter. No, we finish this. Together. I want him caught. She held the ice pack to her bruises. I was going to marry him. In 9 days. Marry a man who grabbed me like this. Who threatened you. You didn't know, but you did. She looked up. Catherine's eyes staring back. The dementia. The confusion. All fake. To protect you. To trap him. She nodded slowly. When she spoke again, her voice was different. Harder. Then let's end this. I won't run. I won't cancel. She set the ice down. 9 days, Dad. Make sure he never hurts anyone again. I looked at my daughter, strong, brave, absolutely resolved. Catherine's daughter indeed. Oh, 9 days. I agreed. Then Graham Pierce learns what happens when you threaten a Brennan, when you threaten our family. Outside, the storm passed. Thunder rumbled distant. Inside, an alliance was forged. Father and daughter united. 9 days until the wedding. 9 days until we took Graham Pierce down. Together. This is the moment everything exploded. But before we continue, I want your prediction. Comment below, does he run, fight, or try to talk his way out? What would a cornered predator do with 200 witnesses watching? Drop a number 1 for run, 2 for fight, a 3 for talk. Let's see what you think. Fair warning, the story ahead includes fictional details created for storytelling. If you'd rather skip it, no judgment, just click away now. And that brought us back to October 15th, back to the garden, back to the note trembling in my hand. 9 days of preparation, FBI agents rehearsing their roles, equipment tested, Megan planting devices, Derek coordinating with Sheriff Keller, Walter mapping every angle, and me continuing the confused act while Graham grew arrogant. While he talked about managing my affairs, while Kimberly identified which guests wore expensive jewelry. They'd celebrated victory too early. Then October 15th arrived, the note, the frozen moment, and me standing between my daughter and a killer 5 words ending everything. Touch her and die. Graham tried to recover. This is insane! I cut him off. Tell them about Helen Brightwell, Carol Richmond. Patrick Morgan and Derek Stone moved through the crowd, badges visible now. Graham's mask cracked. I don't know those people. The dementia was fake, Graham. All of it. Horror flashed across his face. You were never 23 years, FBI. You really think I couldn't spot a predator? Kimberly bolted for the exit. Walter blocked her path. Graham saw exits closing, FBI agents revealing themselves among the guests. Desperate. You have nothing, just your word against mine. I nodded to Megan. She tapped her tablet. The sound system activated. Graham's own voice echoed through the garden. Once we have power of attorney, old men have accidents all the time. His daughter doesn't suspect anything. 3 weeks will be clear. 200 guests gasped, horrified. Graham's face pure panic. His accomplices, Gary Nelson, Denise, Carter, Craig Thornton, ran for exits. Deputies blocked every path. Graham lunged toward Olivia, a hostage attempt. My FBI training kicked in. I had him down in seconds, knee in his back. Sheriff Keller stepped forward. Graham Pierce, you're under arrest. Miranda rights. Handcuffs snapping on Graham, Kimberly, 3 accomplices. Graham screamed, I'll destroy you. Patrick leaned down. You confessed to conspiracy, fraud, attempted kidnapping. 200 witnesses. You're done. Deputies led them away. The garden erupted, crying, applause, shock. An elderly woman thanked me. You saved all of us. Others grateful, emotional. Patrick was already calling UK authorities about extradition. Sheriff Keller, hell of a wedding, Brennan. Olivia stood in her wedding dress, smudged but strong. Father and daughter embraced. The crowd rose in thunderous applause. Someone shouted, best wedding ever, grim laughter. The caterers suggested everyone eat anyway, an impromptu celebration not of a wedding, but of victory. FBI secured evidence. Sunset fell over Catherine's garden. Everyone celebrating justice. I looked at the memorial bench. You were here, Catherine, every step. 3 months later, January brought cold evenings to the ranch. Olivia and I sat on the porch with coffee blankets and stars overhead. Legal outcomes came swift. Graham extradited, convicted, 12 years UK prison. Charges: fraud, conspiracy, elder exploitation, assault, attempted kidnapping. Kimberly, 8 years, federal prison. Gary, Denise, Craig, 3 to 5 years each. Helen Brightwell testified, her pain acknowledged. Carol Richmond's case reopened. Olivia attended Graham's sentencing via video. He tried apologizing. She said, I don't forgive you. I pity you. Personal healing took time. Olivia stayed at the ranch 2 months. Therapy helped process trauma. Eventually, she moved back to Austin, dating cautiously now. Brought boyfriends to meet me early. I expanded Catherine's garden. Memorial bench installed. Catherine Brennan, she always knew. Olivia planted roses every spring. I fully retired. Occasionally consulted for young agents. Patrick visited monthly fishing stories. The team stayed in touch. The garden became peaceful sanctuary. Life lessons emerged naturally. Trust your instincts. Family is worth fighting for. Olivia taught me that asking for help is brave. We spoke of Catherine, often different methods, same result. True wealth wasn't money or land. It was this daughter safe whole, not the ranch. This moment, this peace. I think Mom's proud, Olivia asked softly. I looked at Catherine's garden roses blooming even in winter, tough like she was. I think she orchestrated this whole thing from up there, from you handing me that note at the perfect moment. Olivia smiled. The hill country stretched dark and vast. January stars thick overhead. Somewhere out there other predators still hunted. Other Graham Pierces targeting families. But not here, not at this ranch, not with my daughter. Some things are worth protecting. Some things are worth fighting for. Family is both. Olivia's hand found mine in darkness. Safe, whole, together. Exactly the way Catherine always wanted. Looking back on everything that happened, I want to share something with you, something I learned the hard way during those terrifying weeks. Don't be like me. Don't wait until your daughter hands you a note at her wedding to act. I almost lost everything because I thought I could handle it alone. Pride nearly cost me Olivia's safety, maybe even her life. Here's what this grandpa learned through one of the hardest family stories I've ever lived. First, trust your instincts. God gave us intuition for a reason. When something feels wrong, it usually is. The 4th time Graham asked about those mineral rights, every alarm in my soul went off. Listen to that voice. Second, ask for help before it's too late. I called Patrick, assembled my old team, and that made all the difference. God doesn't expect us to fight our battles alone. He puts people in our lives for moments like these. Third, protect your family, but don't lie to them forever. I hurt Olivia pretending to have dementia. Yes, it was necessary for the trap, but it cost us both. Be honest when you can. Trust is precious. Fourth, predators hide in plain sight. Graham looked perfect, charming, successful, thoughtful. These grandpa stories and family stories exist to warn you evil rarely announces itself. Background checks aren't paranoia, they're wisdom. Fifth and most important, God was with us every step. When Olivia handed me that note at the exact right moment, that wasn't luck. When the recordings played perfectly, when 200 people stayed safe, that was divine protection, working through preparation. Catherine used to say, God helps those who help themselves, but he's always helping. She was right. I did the work, the investigation, the planning, the performance, but God orchestrated the timing. So please learn from my story. Don't ignore red flags. Don't isolate yourself. Don't wait for a crisis to ask for help. And never underestimate the power of family fighting, together guided by faith. If this story resonated with you, please comment below. Have you ever had to protect someone you love? Share this video so others can learn these lessons. And subscribe to hear more grandpa stories and family stories that might just save someone's life. Thank you for staying with me until the end. It wasn't easy to relive, but if it helps even one family avoid what we went through, it's worth it. Before you go, our next story contains fictional elements created for educational purposes. If that's not for you, feel free to choose different content that suits you better. God bless you and your families. Stay vigilant, stay safe.